It is now day 31. There's a car coming behind me, but how can I not get this picture? Oh, how nice. These are the gates. Now, they've got some historical relevance. Shane, do you know what the historical relevance are behind these gates? Because Ernest said yesterday that these were really important gates. I might have to Google that because it's probably... Oh, is there another car? Yeah, look at the work up the top. But it's quite symbolic walking through the gates, apparently. Again, I can't even look at my John Briley book because there's nothing in John Briley about this part of the journey. Remember, this journey is a little bit undocumented. You can see the side of it as well. And then looking up, that's what you see. Oh, is that a truck coming towards me? Where'd you go? Oh no, he's not. Again, look at this. A man, the world, pilgrim, and someone calling for him through there. Interesting. I want to sing. The hills are alive with the sound of music. 59 k's to go. So good morning and welcome to day 31 on Thursday the 29th of August. We left this morning at about 6 o'clock. The albergue we stayed at last night was called Albergue Cotton in Nigeria. It was 15 euros each. They were bunk beds. I think there was like 30 beds there, 15 on one side, 15 on the other, or something like that. To be honest, it was probably one of the nicest albergues. It's actually relatively new. There was washing facilities, private 5 or 6 private showers with toilets in them. So it's like your own little cubicle. Had a beautiful kitchen area. Lots of cooking facilities there, microwave. It was good. The location was great. It's in the main street near cafes, supermarkets and everything. It smelled clean and new. The guy at reception could speak good English. However, the only problem we had last night, and again you can't pick this, is a big group of Spanish very young adults, maybe teenagers, who maybe, I don't know, started from Santiago and were having a party. So they're a bit loud and a bit annoying, but again, it's their Camino. It's their Camino, I get it, but wasn't very considerate of everybody else. There was a whole lot of us who left super early this morning because it was just noisy. And it was also quite hot and muggy in there, but it was a nice albergue. You can't pick the people who are staying, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but it's the Camino. When you stay in an albergue, you sign up for that. Good morning. So day 31. You can hear the roosters still roosting at 9:30 in the morning. What I did notice today, and I think I might have mentioned this once or twice before, is that when we first started this Camino 31 days ago, we were leaving at like 6 o'clock and by 6:30 it was daylight. Now we left today at 6 o'clock, still had my torch on till 7:20 and still needing to, squint and really concentrate on the ground. Didn't actually get light till 7:45. So as the days are going by, and as we move more west, it's darker for longer. So that's something to be aware of. Yeah, something to definitely be aware of. Today we've got the weather forecast was going to be 17 this morning, so I didn't bother putting on a jumper, which is fine. It's very overcast, you can see. I think that there might be some rain today, hopefully not too much because you know I don't like the rain. Today's a 33-kilometre day because it just makes sense, and tomorrow will be the same. But tomorrow we arrive in Finisterre, the end of the world. Now remember, it's not really the end of the world, but this is what they thought was the end of the world hundreds and hundreds of years ago. There's a lighthouse there, and there's also a marker there that has 00 on it, so I'm so excited to get to that. We've stopped already once this morning for a coffee and had a chat to some people who are from Canada. And they were talking about the Porto route. Now, so this is something I mentioned the other day to my travel groupies. Hey, let's do that. It's only short. You can actually get it, I think it's 200 kilometres. I think 200, maybe 100 kilometres. Need to check that. But it's mostly flat, and it goes all the way around the ocean cliff face. So it is like a beautiful walk that you can probably complete in 7 days. So you could actually do it on the 2-week school holidays. This is something I'm going to do some research about, and I might tap into this for July next year. So if anyone's interested, I can be your guide. You can be my followers. Waking up this morning knowing that tomorrow is my very last day of walking felt incredible. I've enjoyed walking. I've enjoyed exploring. Anyone who knows me knows I love walking. Yeah, so totally enjoyed it. For those, there were a few people who have asked, did I start from Saint-Jean-Paul? Yes, I did. I started from Saint-Jean-Paul on Tuesday, the 30th of July. And we have walked non-stop for 31 days, no rest days. We did allow in our original schedule some rest days, however we haven't actually required them. And that's probably because we've done a few days that we had 2 10-kilometre or 12-kilometre days, one that was like 17 kilometres. We've always said if our bodies said we needed to stop, we would stop. We just never felt the need to stop. So some people might think we've rushed. There's probably definitely been days where we did rush. And, you know, the 42k days where it's like just plant the foot and let's get through the day and tick the box. Probably not ideal in hindsight, but I wouldn't say we rushed our actual overall trip. We've thoroughly enjoyed it, met dozens of people, eaten some amazing food, seen some amazing things along the way, and most of all, taking home with us some marvellous experiences. What are these? Blueberries.
Yeah, we'll take one of those.
Great, let's take one of those. Donations. Nice one. Okay, so is this on? Yes, it's on. Shane and I are going to do a bit of a review as we walk into our next town. I've got the microphone on, got the selfie stick out. It's day 31. Okay, so let's talk about what would be something, Shane, that you didn't know before you came and now you know. Example about the Camino, yeah?
We tested me 2 microphones. Can we have that happen again?
Right, take 2. We're going to talk to you about what we didn't know before the Camino, that we've learnt on the Camino, that might be helpful for other people. So Shane, what would you say?
That you need a general fitness to do the Camino, but you don't really need to be confident in doing 30 or 40 k's a day. But a lot of that will just come as you walk and do the Camino. So yeah, don't stress too much about the physicality of it.
Yep.
Just leave yourself plenty of time to be able
Camino.
to complete it. Hello.
Yeah, that's a good point you make. So we had been training for, we say 2.5 years, but for the last 6 months, for the last 6 months we haven't done a lot of hiking. There's always just been something on. And, you know, we did make comment a few times, oh, are we going to be ready for it? Buen Camino. Buen Camino. But it turns out there's lots of people who don't even train at all who come on the Camino. I think that if you're prepared to do the Camino your way, and that could be 10Ks a day, 15Ks a day, 30Ks a day, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, when we were training, like, we were only once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, doing like 15K walks with a little bit of hills and stuff, but we never did a 30K hike. Whereas now, regularly, every second day we're doing 30Ks. Yeah, your body just gets used to it. You just need to allow yourself the time to do that. And yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, and the other thing was, I think really importantly, what we did is with all of our watching YouTubes and all of the information that we were finding out, we did have an overall itinerary of what, 33 days would look like. Day 1, here to here, day 2, here to here, and what the distances were. And I remember once we made that, I remember saying, I'm not going to be able to do 25Ks a day. Like, that's hard. As it turns out, that itinerary has been...
You're faster and faster up the hill, aren't you? You don't have to race.
I'm not racing!
You need to go faster and faster. Let's go.
Okay, back to the itinerary. So we had a very loose itinerary that was mapped out from day 1 to day 33 and what that would look like. That was important for us to do because it allowed us to book the first 3 or 4 days?
3 days.
3 days,
Yep.
And then after that, we can...
St. John, Roncesvalles, Sabri, booked.
Yes, that's correct. And then after that time, we played with the itinerary, but actually, to be honest, we didn't look back at that itinerary.
No.
It was just suddenly we looked at it and said, oh, we're a day ahead. Oh, we're another day ahead. Then once we knew we were going to Finisterre, we deliberately did a few extra kilometres each day so we could make up some extra time. So we weren't pushing ourselves beyond limits. Because one question someone asked was, did you race through it? No. There were, like I said, there were days where we did 10Ks and days where we did 17. Yes, we did some big days. But some of those big days were through the Meseta. And the Meseta was actually probably my favourite part. It wasn't as flat and boring as what we had heard. Would you agree, Shane?
Yeah, that was my best part, but I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was good, and it was nowhere near as flat as we thought it was going to be. But that could also be a seasonal thing. We had a lot of sunflowers around. And, it was quite hot and nice.
Yeah.
We picked a couple of the courses that actually had trees most of the way.
Yes.
So yeah,
Bit of shade.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
Bit of shade.
And we deliberately slowed down anyway, sort of towards the middle of it, for a few days. And then we picked a few places we really wanted to stay, so we sort of did a few short days to marry up to catch those.
Yep. Shane and I will tomorrow do a packing video. We're going to unpack our stuff. We've got a beautiful accommodation at Finisterre tomorrow night, which is all ours. So we will do an unpacking video because I know that someone else has asked that of us to do a packing video. So we'll do that. The other thing is when we get home, we will do an accommodation review. So we'll go through each day of our accommodations and we'll talk about what we rated them and why.
Yeah, definitely have some favourites. Definitely have some do not ever go there.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm going to also put all of the interviews together as one whole video of pilgrim interviews. Pilgrim interviews. There have been times where I've asked, do I do an interview? And some people have said no. And that's totally fine. They're on their journey. They want it to be private. Totally fine. But I know some interviews have given you guys lots of great information, which is good. Got to say my Hokers, Nafati, perfect shoe. I'd choose them time and time again after this. And the Injinji toe socks, 100% I'd use them again. Shane?
Yeah, the Ultra Lone Peaks, big fan, would definitely use them again. possibly move to the Olympus, which is the same, just with a little bit more padding underneath. And definitely toe socks. Everyone we've talked to with toe socks have had minimal problems with blisters. Everyone we talked to without them nearly always have some sort of blister.
Yeah, yeah. The road today to Finisterre is lovely. We're going to Olivio. I could be saying it wrong, but that's where we're going. It's 33 kilometres, but it's actually quite a nice walk. Lots of spots to stop for coffee on the way as well. What else do you think people want to know?
Maybe the favourite parts, if you were going to only do 2 weeks of the Camino, because we did St. John's to Santiago in just over 4 weeks. I didn't say 5 weeks.
4 weeks and 1 day.
Yeah, I guess what part you would most like to do again if you're only going to do 2 weeks of the Camino?
Yeah, and what would you say?
For me, it would. I'd probably start at the start. I think. If I had more time, if I had 6 weeks to do it, I would actually start in France and do sort of the 150 k's from France into St. John. That's meant to be some of the most beautiful scenery around. But if you were just going to do the Francis walk, I would start at St. John Pied de Port and go through to, well, depending on how many k's you're doing, either Pamplona or Burgos, somewhere there. And then it opens up the option if you want to come back and finish it. You don't get a Compostela just for doing that, but I've probably found it the most rewarding and filling. You're also walking with people at that point that are starting their journey for the most part. Whereas I think the Saria to Santiago is nowhere near as nice, fun, exciting as those first bit. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. The other thing I was just about to say as well is food. Always make sure you got some food with you. We've been mostly lucky. There's always been places along the way to stop. Today felt like it was a long 2 hours before we actually got any coffee, which is a nightmare some days because you just want coffee to get you started.
You just get a container of blueberries for donations that were piled on the side of the road.
We did. And Ernest, who you've seen us walk with quite a bit the last few days, he actually he sees fruit all the time and picks it, whether it's peaches, apples, pears, even an orange the other day. So yeah, there's lots of fruit. You can eat your way through the Camino.
Depending on the season.
Yeah, depending on the season again. And remember, we started at Saint Jean Paul, and it was hot, it was daylight, it was summer, and it's been perfect. Like, that's the weather that we've enjoyed the most.
Definitely.
I wouldn't want to come here in October where you need a sleeping bag, you need long pants, you need long sleeve shirts, etc.
It's raining a lot of the time.
Yep. Someone asked the other day, do we need a sleeping bag? Well, we have not needed a sleeping bag. We have got sleeping bag liners, which is just Shane's out of silk, mine's out of cotton. It's really light. It doesn't weigh very much at all. And I get hot in mine. Last night I actually went to sleep for the first or second time in my walking clothes. I was roasting. Oh, look at these cows.
Yeah, probably one of the hardest things about summer. Like, I actually enjoy, I'd rather work in walking 34 degrees than 24, to be honest.
Yeah.
That first beer when you stop is much more enjoyable. But the hardest part of that doing summer is that all of the albergues are hot. None of them have air conditioning, none of them have fans. Some of them have windows that open that will probably get closed on you anyway.
Yep.
You wake up every morning just stuffy and hot.
Let me have a look at this.
Cows getting milked.
I think we've done really well with our money. Oh, there's a puppy dog coming towards us. There are lots of ATMs on the way, which we didn't know. We could have used hundreds of them. There's a pussycat running now. Oh, good, yeah. Start again.
Most places will take a credit card.
Yep.
There's plenty of ATMs, most places will take credit cards.
yes, the routine has been pretty much we get up, we have our bag packed the night before. I generally go to sleep in my aerobic top and underwear, and then I just wake up, put my t-shirt on and my bike shorts on, my socks on, creep out of the sleeping area and put on my shoes, go brush my teeth and put my contacts in. And Shane probably does pretty much the same, except doesn't wear contacts. And then we walk till we find coffee, walk some more till we find coffee, walk some more and maybe a cold drink or another coffee depending on the time. Sunflowers. Then we get to our albergue. Normally, I mean, it could be anything between 1 and 4 to be honest. And then we wash our clothes, have a shower, and then we go find a place to get some internet and maybe have a bite to eat and also just relax our feet.
Hello.
Hello.
Buen Camino.
So that's our routine. We might eat something and then be in bed probably between 8 and 10. Again, depending on the day, depending on how many Ks we walk, depending on the accommodation. Yeah, do some research on your accommodation and take some notes on accommodation that you hear about, just in case you end up in that town.
Yeah, don't pre-book it. Everyone we've talked to that pre-books everything regrets it.
Yeah.
I haven't met anyone yet that's glad that they have everything planned out.
Yeah, which is what we said about that girl the other day. I'm back, no selfie stick, it's annoying me, it's out of control today. The question was about whether people whether or not people should pre-book accommodation, book tours for the Camino, etc. We would steer against that. We met someone from Australia just the other day who had pre-booked her entire accommodation, and it just meant that she didn't have the flexibility to walk on with people or stop extra time or do extra kilometres.
Can't listen to your body if you feel like you need a short day, and some days you're just going to not feel like walking. Some days you're going to feel a little bit injured. Other days you'll feel like you can just keep walking forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want the flexibility to be able to control that. We found with albergues, like generally the night before we will book something, not pay a deposit, just book the bed, and then by early afternoon we know whether we're going to make that or whether we're going to go past that, and then we'll just contact them and say sorry, we're not staying there, and they've all been fine with that.
Yeah, and sometimes, like the other day, we actually booked one that was at 25 Ks and one that was at 30 Ks, and then we decided that we would stop at the 25 Ks and we cancelled the 30 K one. And we did that early enough in the day because we knew we weren't going to make it. Long as you cancel though, because otherwise people have got beds saved and then people don't show up, and then the albergue owners are without some business.
Pilgrims are without beds.
Pilgrims without beds.
But to be fair, this time it hasn't been an issue. Outside of Porta Marin,
yeah,
we haven't seen any real full albergues.
Yes.
Like in Uruguay last night had spare beds.
Yes, it was. Yep, okay. Just a bit of the views this morning. It's looking cloudy again. We've had 1 or 2 spits this morning of rain. The breeze is amazing and you can probably barely hear us. So heading down the last maybe kilometre or so before we get to a town called Lugo, and then it's 6 Ks to where we're staying. It's been pretty much up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's been cool and breezy, so it hasn't felt too bad. It is a long day though, with 33 kilometres, but we're super lucky that it's not rained and it's not boiling hot either, and there's also lots of trees as you can see, which makes it quite a pleasant walk. The surface on the ground today has been quite nice. It's either been little gravelly bits or sand or road, so nothing big and major on your feet today either, which makes it nice. And looking forward to getting to our albergue tonight. Another one of those drying houses for the corn there as we head into town. Looking forward to having a Coke Zero. I'm gonna sit down. So just here having another cold drink, and I'm here with Eladia, and she's from Italy. Eladia, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Tell me about your Camino journey.
I started from Porto in Portogallo, and then I walked to Santiago, and then I'm going to Finisterre.
And when did you start? How long ago?
The 17th of August.
17th of August.
Yeah.
Perfect. And what have you enjoyed the most about the Camino?
The meetings. I knew a lot of people, interesting people, and it was wonderful.
Wonderful. You're also travelling on your own?
Yeah.
And how is that? Is that okay?
Yeah. I was in my own, but I've never been alone.
That's what we say too. That's good. If someone wanted to do the Camino, what advice would you give?
I maybe say to them that it's a wonderful experience, and that it's a moment in which you can think about yourself, but also you can know people and learn from them, and you can also teach something to others when you have learned, and maybe they will meet people that help, and they do the same to others. That's all.
That's it. Beautiful. Thank you for the chat. Haven't seen little sheepies for ages. Well, feels like ages. So we're nearly about at our town, and here are some road workers making the dots on the road.
Unlike Australia, working in the rain.
Working in the rain.
And working. Unlike Australia.
Hello! Yeah, so one guy's holding out the rope, the other one is doing the marking. So we've just arrived at our second last albergue, Casa Manola. Yay! Busy. So we changed our room from the bunk beds into this bedroom. We've got a big double bed, great big bathroom. I'm not really super impressed with the guy himself. I feel like he's a little bit rude, but there is aircon, there's a TV screen, great big bathroom. Not that we need a great big bathroom. We've got a double bed.
The guy's also massively under the pump. It's crazy busy in that bar.
It is crazy busy in that bar. Yes.
They should have at least another one or two people working.
Yes.
Probably be nice to go for it.
Correct, but it is a nice place. So this is down the stairs. There is a vending machine, a kitchen area in here for you to use. And then down here is a laundry and a reception area. So it's actually a really nice place. Is actually a really nice place. Okay, so we've just stopped at El Ballas o Camino for beer and pizza, and I have run into Olivia 2 days straight. Olivia, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. Now you're doing the Camino?
I am doing the Camino.
And where did you start?
I started in Saint-Jean-Pied-Port in France just over a month ago.
Perfect. And how have you enjoyed it?
It's been incredible.
Incredible. And you're a solo woman too, aren't you?
I am.
So how is that experience? Because I get lots of people asking me about solo women and is it safe and how do they feel about it, etc.
I have felt safe the entire time. I've been walking with people pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
I think actually it's been more a case of me wanting time by myself rather than feeling alone.
Yeah, that's a good one. And the albergues and things like that have been okay for a single woman on her own?
Yeah, totally. I think you meet people so easily and so often that it feels very safe. The only times at the beginning I felt a little bit scared if I woke up before it was light and I started walking before it was light.
Yeah.
But then I just started doing that with other people. And,
Perfect. And what have you enjoyed the very most?
I think the thing that I've loved the most is the coincidences of the Camino. So when you run into people again, or just these little encounters that you have all along the way. Maybe you haven't seen someone for 3 weeks and then they happen to be outside at a cafe when you walk past, and those things, they're just magical.
Yeah, nice. Now, if anyone asked you about, they wanted to go on the Camino, and what advice would you give for them?
2 things. Pack, then repack, then repack. Then repack. Take half what you think you need.
Yeah.
And I would also say try and trust in the Camino. So at the beginning it was very hard for me to not know where I was going to sleep at night, and I really wanted to book somewhere. But you really don't need to do that, and it's very freeing once you can kind of give up that control and relax into it.
Perfect. Well, enjoy the rest of your journey.
Thank you so
You
much.
are going to
Murcia tomorrow, and then to Finisterre afterwards. Yeah.
Perfect. End of the world.
Yeah. End of the world. Bring it on.
Thanks so much, Olivia.
Thank you. Bye.